AI has been hitting at all forms of media.
Just kidding, I'm not real.
No actors, no film crews, no musicians, and no journalists. And what's even more concerning is that it's just a matter of time where it could be near impossible to tell this from reality. The media takeover hasn't just started, it's hitting momentum. Today, I want to show you what's already happening, who's at risk, and whether we can realistically draw the line before this gets too far. So let's go back to November of 2022. That is when OpenAI launched ChatGPT to the public. And it's safe to say this world was never the same. Millions of people started using it right away. When I first saw it, I was like, whoa. It's kind of like a turbocharged Google with Wikipedia, but it could also assist you and give recommendations. It was like Jarvis to Tony Stark. Right? If you saw Iron Man, probably a version 1.0, and you saw all these other companies trying to get a piece of the action. Bottom line, chat started the AI boom. But then OpenAI decides to drop another bomb in September of 2025 in the form of Sora 2. That was another game changer, but this time in the realm of content creation. Just with simple text, it could generate video and audio. I wouldn't quite say that it was realistic, but it was very, very impressive. When I first saw what Sora 2 was capable of, it was on my social media feed, and I was like staring at it probably like the way a caveman first saw fire. I was like, whoa, that is crazy. And I could imagine with fire, it's looking at it like this. So much potential, but if abused, could probably burn down the forest. So seeing Sora 2, especially when it came to short form content, I think we could really begin to see how serious this was getting. In a previous video, I talked about how we spend our days. Let's just say 6 to 8 hours on average is spent sleeping, 6 to 8 hours is spent at work, and the other 6 to 8 hours is spent on a screen. As you could see with the baby boomers, they spend the least amount of time on a screen, but when you get towards Generation Z, you're pushing again around 7, probably getting towards 8 hours. Keep in mind, this is outside of work. What is considered screen time? Well, again, looking at this chart here, we can see what is considered screen time. And if you look at it all, AI is coming in, kind of beginning to dominate all these sectors. So I want to break down each of these sectors and how far AI has progressed, but also how it's disrupting the actual industries in that space. So I'm gonna start with TV and movies, and I think it'll give a very clear glimpse of what's going on. Sora 2 first showcased the potential of audio and video generation, again, using AI. We could still kind of tell that it was AI, but recently you have ByteDance coming out, and they launched Cdance 2.0. Now, if you're not familiar with ByteDance, they were the people who brought TikTok onto the planet. So when they dropped Cdance 2.0, that was a major flex. When you look at this clip here, could you imagine being Brad Pitt or Tom Cruise and you're like, oh my gosh, what will the technology be like 3 years from now? And you are seeing some of this. I mean, look at this clip right here.
But none of this is real.
I'm not gonna lie, I always wanted to know who would win between Neo and John Wick, but that's outside the point. Getting back to what I was saying here, Hollywood is seeing the threat of what AI is capable of. And keep in mind, right now, AI is only good to generate clips, but they're saying within a couple years, it could do full-length Hollywood production capable movies. Hollywood is spooked. Now, the co-writer of Deadpool and Wolverine said this: I am not at all excited about AI encroaching into creative endeavors. To the contrary, I am terrified. So many people I love are facing the loss of careers they love. I myself am at risk. I mean, we are seeing a shift in this world when it comes to entertainment. So that is movies and television. Now, I should also add, when it comes to advertisements, the last Super Bowl,
Use code HYDEMAXING10 for big discounts.
they were already showing AI generated commercials. You get this feeling that we are slowly being desensitized, where this could be like this new normal, or they're perhaps hoping for this to somewhat be a new normal. So the next sector when it comes to media is audio, which I think music industry. And yes, AI has started to make their mark already. So there is this songwriter named Talisha Jones. She actually used an AI music generator named Suno to take her lyrics, but Suno added the instrumentals and the voice and literally created this AI artist named Zanaya Monet. It's a songwriter, but utilizing AI to make the rest of the music. So with this music, Zanaya Monet became the first AI artist to be on the Billboard Airplay charts. And that got the music industry moving. Now I should also add, at least a songwriter made Zanaya. What I think is really scaring a lot of artists is when you have content creators using the voice of real life artists. One big controversy dealt with Drake and The Weeknd, where someone utilized their voice and made a song and it went completely viral. You have all of these artists saying, what do we do if there are people out there that could literally create content with our voice? You question what could happen to the livelihood of these people. The last thing I do want to add when it comes to audio is Cdance 2.0 can literally create everything from the music itself even to the music video. And we saw this with Kanye West. They made a Chinese music video. He is singing Mandarin. A lot of people said that's not Kanye West because that is AI generated. So people were joking saying that's Kanye East. Regardless, we are seeing what AI is capable of right now. Where's this going in a couple years? Now let's go to print media. And when I think print media, we could think books, written books, ebooks, newsletters, basically anything that's written. AI is not just in the space, it's actually dominating the space. And it's kind of concerning. AI can churn out a new book in 45 minutes. How are regular writers going to compete with that? I mean, for a regular writer, they take weeks, if not months. Some writers take years, but AI can do it on a lunch break. This is crazy. So now we're gonna go into the next sector, which is video games or interactive media. I'm actually most okay with it getting into video games in the sense of AI enhancing whether it be the visuals or when it comes to the gameplay. Let's say we're playing an action or adventure game. And yes, I mean, I think AI would make the game more challenging, which I think is actually cool. Where people are concerned is when you have these more realistic video games and you have AI generating a character that is similar to a real life person and using their voice. So there was also a strike with SAG-AFTRA when it came to video games. But you know, to be honest, if Nintendo wants to do a Super Mario Brothers redo with AI enhancing everything, or how about an AI enhanced Street Fighter 2? I mean, maybe it might show my age, but I think that'd be pretty cool. News media. If AI can do music videos and movie clips, it's very, very concerning what it can do when it comes to the news.
Live from Clearwater Beach, where an unidentified... Just kidding, I'm not real.
AI can enhance real life situations to perhaps make it more dramatic than what it actually is, to stir human emotion. And I think we can all agree that when it comes to the news, we want accuracy, we want authenticity. To skew the facts, or what's even worse, just making up stories entirely, is greatly concerning. So lastly is social media. And so when I saw Sora 2 for the first time, it was entertaining. And I'm sure a lot of us here looked at it with fascination. But over time, it feels like it's just completely flooded my feed. Where even with YouTube, roughly around 20% of the content is AI generated material. There's a saying called AI slop, and the slop is growing. So what are my overall feelings when it comes to AI just completely getting into all forms of media? I'm not completely against it. And even if I was against it, I don't think there's anything that we could do to stop it. But I do believe there should be limits in terms of what AI can and cannot do. I look at it like this. I don't know if you notice this, whether it be in your neighborhood or in your city, But electric bikes, you have kids riding around in these electric bikes. They're essentially motorcycles. And what's concerning to me is that some of these bikes can go as fast as cars. I think there needs to be some form of regulation, because if they are essentially a motorbike, do kids need some form of a license or certification? A lot of people could get hurt with these. It's safe to say for a lot of the actors and actresses and the different creators, there should be something in place to protect them, right? Because it's their intellectual property. We already see Hollywood and the music industry really trying to figure that out. I also look at AI coming into all forms of media with a sense of curiosity, because here's the thing. People will keep creating this content if there are people who want to keep viewing it. When it comes to media, especially social media, it may look free, but it's technically not. It is paid by these advertisers. These media companies are okay with this content, whether it's AI or some of us here might call it AI slop, if people keep viewing it and they keep getting ad revenue from it. Believe it or not, we do have a strong sense of control over it. So if people are kind of sick of the whole AI slop, if we decide not to view that stuff anymore, the algorithm's gonna show it, and then all of a sudden, a lot of these media companies are gonna stop producing or promoting AI generated content. So I think we're at a point where we gotta see where this goes. I do believe there should be some very firm limitations on its uses, but overall, it's really down to what the masses feel. We control this content with our wallets and with our eyes. So again, if we don't want this type of content, if we don't want to watch this type of content, then the advertisers are not gonna pay the media companies, and you just see the whole chain reaction unfolding. So with that being said, I'm curious to what your thoughts are. Do you agree with this AI generated content just flooding everything? Or do you feel there should be certain levels of restriction? What should those restrictions be? Definitely make a comment. I would love to see what y'all have to say about this. And if you found this content interesting and useful, I would greatly appreciate it if you like, subscribe, even hit the bell icon, and I look forward to the next video.